What's up, everybody? This is episode 13 of No One Can Agree. Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Joe Love. I have a panel here with special guests uh, and members of the crew of All Sides Media. I got Alan, I got Judge, and I got Devin all here with me. We should have some other people jumping in during the show. But let's get started. We've missed you guys. It's been a couple of weeks since we did our last show. Uh, and we got a lot of catching up to do, fellas. How y'all doing?
Oh yeah, doing good.
Good, man.
Good, good, good. All right, so let's jump right into it. Our first topic is going to be something that happened a couple of weeks ago. Uh, we're gonna jump right into the hurricane that hit Puerto Rico, Hurricane Maria. Uh, Puerto Rico got hit by this hurricane and several other islands in the Caribbean. But Puerto Rico got hit the hardest, and it is the focus of this topic just simply because this is a U.S. Uh, territory. They had a blackout, devastation, and destruction throughout the whole island, and the whole entire island lost power. Uh, we have yet to send much aid to Puerto Rico, and it's due to some embargo for uh, what is it? Per Not purchases, but carrying
Some
or
type of shipping.
shipping. Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah. I
ship.
get the specifics on it by the time we get to the topic.
Yeah. So they have a shipping embargo that President Trump can lift and has not done so. He said some negative things about Puerto Rico in the past, showing their debt. A lot of people in Puerto Rico have some ill will towards Trump for that.
Mm.
Uh, I read on Twitter, even one person said that Trump had defaulted on a hotel or something, and he backed out of it. No, I'm sorry, it was a golf course, not a hotel. It was a golf course that he created in Puerto Rico. He defaulted on it and was in debt for $33 million. He didn't pay that bill, so Puerto Rico was left to fit that bill. He hadn't paid anything. Uh, but he did talk about Puerto Rico and their debt. So the country is in debt. They don't bring in a lot of money. There's a lot of poverty in Puerto Rico. What are you guys' thoughts on this and the devastation and effects that hurricane had on that country? I mean, I'm sorry, on that island, and where you think we go? We hadn't sent too much aid there. I know people personally there, or people from here who have family and friends there. They can't contact them because they have no way to contact them. Water shortages, and everything else like that. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
Um, I'm just looking at the pictures, man, and like I don't even know how to even describe what they're feeling right now. To not be able to get aid, get help, hospitals lack supplies. Several children in the hospitals need ventilators. They don't have ventilators. Um, I mean, just seeing these kids' faces, man, just walking with their parents, nothing with them. Like I don't even know what I don't even know how to even describe that. I feel like as a people, when things happen, like we should help. Like a piece of paper should not stop someone from providing aid at any time. Like that just it's just crazy to me. And then personal beefs between political figures and stuff like that when it comes to the life and well-being of people, like that stuff need to go to the side, man. Because we're going to continue to see stuff like this all the time where the news is going to pop up and say, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to aid these people? who should we reach out to first? Like, it shouldn't be that. It should already be something in place. Aid should always be there for everyone. That's how I feel. I just, man,
Totally agree. Totally
man.
agree.
I agree as well, but I think the problem is that we've become in the type of society we have in this capitalistic society in this so-called republic. They call it democracy. Really, it's a republic of what type of government we have. That we look towards the government for this type of aid. If we go back to where civilization was a long time ago, and really how it is in a lot of indigenous tribes, they have social responsibility. You
Mm-hmm.
use your resources amongst each other. You use barter.
Exactly.
You do things like that. That way, aid is always there. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
sit there. Everybody's not waiting to, on hold to call the Red Cross or call FEMA and waiting
Right.
for it to check. You know what I'm saying? If you do down the street as a carpenter, guess what? You know what I'm saying? He gonna take a few proteges under him, show him how to work the wood or whatever, help rebuild some houses. Somebody over here know how to do this. Somebody else over here has to hook up on that and can paint. And everybody get together and rebuild the community together. And it sounds like a fairy tale, but it's really a lot easier. There's no reason on a planet with 7 billion people that we can't get aid to the few 20 or a couple few 100,000 that are over there in Puerto Rico. And like you said, any kind of paperwork or shipment. It's called the Jones Act. I looked it up. It's
Yeah.
basically a law that bars foreign flagged vessels to ship goods between U.S. ports or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the deal
It's like
is,
100 years old.
yeah, it's exactly 100 years old. So it's like it's it's crazy. These, like you said, these people are dying. These people are without power. It's an entire island that is part of United States territory that we are responsible for as United States, and they're essentially being neglected with nothing. An entire island,
Man.
100% with no power, man. I mean, like you said, there's people out there that need diabetes medicine. There's stuff needs to be refrigerated. There's people that need chemo. There's people that need. It's like it's crazy, man. It's like the more I talk about it and hearing you talk about it, it kind of hits me to really try to put yourself in that position and see
Mm-hmm.
exactly what these people are going through.
Right.
Especially in a time to where we're not really as human beings able to live off the land. We're not the people that we were hundreds of years ago, where we can go out and hunt and grow our own things and rebuild our own stuff. We've been conditioned, especially as Americans, to run to the store for everything, or go to
Mm-hmm.
KFC to get some chicken, go to Kroger's and get something to cook. You know what I'm saying? Go to the gas station. We're
Yep.
relying upon all these things. And when you have it all cut off and you can't get any fuel shipped to your island, you can't get any food brought in, you have no power, you have nothing, you're just basically stuck there stranded with an ocean around you. And the person who's supposed to help you, your president, your country, which is United States of America, has left you out there in the middle of the ocean. That has to be the biggest. I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like a slap in the face if you look at it like that. To let something like that, which can be lifted, stop you from bringing aid to a country that's in dire need.
Right.
Um, no power, shortage in water. Uh, it doesn't get worse than that. I mean, it can. I mean, the destruction. A lot of those houses and infrastructures are, it's they aren't built to withstand a hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those, houses are built with, store bought concrete, put together not by professionals, stuff like that. So those people need help. I wish them all the best. I know a lot of people from Puerto Rico and people of Puerto Rican descent. So it's in my family as well. So I know how that feels. Uh, Judge, you there? You got anything to add on that?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I do. First, there is aid going to Puerto Rico. Let's first make sure everybody understands that, not just you guys, but the American public. Um, what happens is you have critics of the president or critics of the government or people who just want to carry a certain narrative say stuff and people just believe it. So I know people that's actually in PR, that's family there, and they can tell you there's aid there that's coming there. Okay, they're not just the U.S. government ain't just leaving U.S. citizens out hanging out to dry. So anybody that's spreading that, that's a lie. Okay, that's first and foremost. Second of all right, the people that's there are working together, and they're helping each other just like they did in Houston. So let's not also go with the narrative that nobody's assisting nobody and everybody's out for themselves.
No.
Again,
We're
I
not
got
saying
it.
this.
I'm just
We're not
telling you what
saying
I'm
that.
hearing. So I want to make sure I address the falsehoods first. Now, here's the other part about that. There are also other countries that's bringing in stuff. Even though the Jones Act hasn't been lifted, I know it was lifted for Texas. I mean, for Houston during Harvey. And I know it was lifted in Florida. It hasn't been lifted yet for Puerto Rico. But once that's done, that just means other foreign countries can come in the masses and dock into the ports. But U.S. ships can still go in and out. That's why I want to make sure that's clear for everybody. That U.S. ships are going in and out of the ports. They are delivering supplies. It's just not as fast as it would be if the ports were completely open and multiple different nations can bring supplies in, such as neighboring Cuba or neighboring Mexico or anybody that's out in the Caribbean that's got access to them. Um, but yeah, I know some people that I got some people at my unit for sure whose family is down in PR and they've lost everything. You know, the houses are flooded. The houses, like you guys said, they've got houses made out of cement that they kind of mix themselves, made out of wood. And then they all struggling right now because, you know, two big hurricanes came through, not just one, but two. We got to remember that was one before that that kind of grazed through there. I believe Irma grazed through there before that. Um, and so a certain sector of PR got hit. And then, of course, here comes Maria just really slapping everybody and punching them. So, yeah, I agree. It's unfortunate. But, you know, when you're on these islands and you're out there in these tropical climates, hurricanes are every year occurrence. It's just like those that have to deal with earthquakes in Mexico and India and all these other places. So,
All right, and with that, we can segue uh, into the Mexico earthquakes. Uh, there was the initial earthquake hit off the coast of Mexico, and it was 8.1, but it wasn't on land. Then the second earthquake hit, and it was 7.1, and that hit Mexico and in Mexico City, uh, and it did about $2 billion worth of damage so far. And they're still searching for people. They're still missing people. Buildings collapsed. It looked like a scene from a movie. Uh, the devastation of that happened. I mean, it was during the hurricanes that was going on. So this was like consecutive hits for this region of the map. This central and coastal Caribbean area.
Yeah, Katia just came through there. Hurricane Katia.
Yep. So the devastation hit Mexico pretty hard as well. And they're still, I mean, I heard one report that there was about 40 people missing from a building, and you've got some 19 children missing from a school, and the capital had 187 people reported as dead, and also like 74 deaths in another place and 45 in another place. There's just a bunch of death all over the place because when those buildings come down, if you're in it, there ain't nowhere to go. There ain't nothing you can do to prepare for that if the building drops.
Yep.
What do you guys feel about that, and how can they rebuild from that and kind of
Well,
where do you see
just
them going?
well, the thing is like me going back just from my days as a little kid. I used to study a lot of stuff, and I know the history of Mexico City itself. It used to be called Tectocatlan or something like that. I can't pronounce it. Like an old Mayan type of word, but basically, it's basically swampland. It's basically that entire city is not built on solid, stable land, for one. And when you couple that with a major earthquake, you're looking at, the recipe for disaster. And they've known that, you know what I'm saying? They know that Mexico City, for the good part of it, is built on, old swampland. Um, Two, I wonder about the aid that's going there. I haven't heard too many reports of our aid. I know when Houston had its deal, Mexico had their stuff. And then when they start having their devastation, they had to pull out their aid and go back to Mexico and stuff like that. So I don't know if U.S. is helping Mexico at this time or what. And that's something I'm curious to find out. I'm
Yeah, I
pretty sure,
haven't.
Judge will have some insight on that one to see
Yeah, let's
whether or
see what
not.
Judge has to say about that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure he got
I
something to
want to
say
see
on
if he got
that.
that
But
insight, man.
as a matter of fact, I don't even have nothing. I just want to hear what he got to say on that one.
Judge, you
But
with
yeah,
us?
Judge, your mic's off.
Y'all rough, man. Don't be rough on me. Um, I haven't been listening either on that. But if anybody's going out there, most often it's going to be private companies, private charity organizations. Normally, the government don't just run out there too quick. They usually allow the private industry, private charities to kind of do their thing, the Red Cross, etc. And we all know about the Red Cross and how horrific they can be with certain things. Um, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping, that's what it is, just the private companies. But that's pretty much all I can say on
Hmm.
that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think any USA. You would think we would help our neighbors a little bit better than that, but I hadn't heard of any USA going there. And
Yeah.
uh, there, there ain't really no. I mean, Donald, the president, he's he's kind of beefing right now with the Mexico leadership as it is. So
Beefing
we
with
all know.
everybody. That's what
Yeah.
From the whole wall
fair this
fiasco,
week now. You gotta chill.
the,
Yeah.
the wall that
Chill.
still hadn't begun being constructed. So we know they don't.
It would have crumbled. The wall would have been there to crumble.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh shit, we gotta buy and build it again.
Mm. Alan, you got anything on that?
No, that's it.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna jump right into North Korea. Kim Jong Un and Donald Trump has been going back and forth, uh, and I think the posture that we as America is presenting and the posture that North Korea is presenting is moving closer to hostility, not just words from the two leaders. Uh, being having some insight on the military and things like that, I do know that the U.S. is posturing up for potential conflict. Not to say that there will be a war, but the U.S. sees this as threat enough to posture up to start beefing up the defenses and getting uh, our forces ready uh, in case there is a conflict. So I do know that, and I'm sure North Korea is doing the same thing. Uh, Gentlemen, what do you think about this? Do you think it's going to happen? And do you
But
think
let me tell you.
American people want this?
Let me jump in on this, man. All Trump is doing is trying to steer the uh, inflictions off him with his court case and push us towards somewhere else. Same thing with the football situation. Him making a comment down in Alabama. He's trying to do things, in my opinion, to boost up his rating, continue to get more support because his numbers have fallen. And of course, he always goes to those towns that really support him. And they show all those smiley faces on Fox News. So to me, it's more political than anything else. I do agree with you, Joe, that, I'm pretty sure our military is gearing up for something. And I would hate for anybody to be placed in the line of fire over someone else's ego. And so that's my take on that. And that's what I believe.
And that's exactly what it is. It's two egos. You got probably two of the most unstable world leaders with access to nuclear weapons having a pissing match. Essentially, is what we're dealing with. And there's really nothing that North Korea has done that they haven't done for the past 50 years since the Korean War has still been going on. But people don't realize that the Korean War never ended. It's just been a ceasefire for the past 50 some odd years.
Right.
So they've been talking shit. They have the demilitarized zone right there on the border, where they, what I'm saying, they, hurl whatever obscenities and all these different messages and propaganda across the border to each other. This is nothing different that they've done before. They always test missiles. See, the thing is, like you said, with Fox News, beyond them showing all the little smiling trumpets and everything in his little rallies, they show a video of North Korea with their missiles going through the streets and rocket launches. This is basically old stock footage that they've had for years. This is what they do. It's what every developed country does that has a military. They always do military tests. What you do. We do it. Everybody, Israel does it. Russia does it. Why shouldn't North Korea have their as a sovereign country be able to test their military stuff too? But they're trying to make it like it's something else. Let them stay over there, do their thing. Leave them the hell alone. He ain't come over here messing with you. Don't go over there messing with him. That's where I see it. But what's gonna happen is they're gonna keep stirring up some mess, and hopefully they'll get it together. And what's crazy is, I think I said this before, I think the only one man on this planet of 7 billion people who could probably get them together, who knows both of them, is Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman go over there and smoke a cigar or Cohiba with Kim Jong-un and sip some Hennessy, tell him to chill out and come back over here and chill with Trump, man, tell him to chill out, maybe we could be cool. You never know, the worm could be the peacemaker, man, you never know.
So Dennis Rodman is the link to stopping the war.
That's crazy, man, when you think about it. That's the only
Dennis
man
Rodman
on the planet.
Can save the world.
There you go.
Man. All right.
Judge, what's your thoughts?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. I think I've mentioned it before. You're looking at two egomaniacs. Looking at two people who are the same person. Okay. Personally, between the media stirring up the shit, I think that there are two people who are just, because I said this the other day. The only way.
Hey, Judge, Mike.
You got audio problems, man.
If he do something, he wouldn't be right. Am I something?
Yeah, just cut him
out. Your mic is going in and out.
Yeah.
You got a bad
internet
feed.
connection.
It's your internet, man. You got bad feed. All right.
Well, we would love to hear the rest of Judge's opinion on this particular topic. We're gonna move along, and we'll probably try to revisit it when he comes back on. Moving on, fellas. Last week, prior to the NFL comments, Steph Curry was asked, would he go to the White House? For if Golden State won a championship. He said that he would not be attending a White House visit to honor the NBA champion. And this happens yearly for every major sport. The team who wins goes to the White House and is honored by the President of the United States. Happens every year, every
Mm-hmm.
major sport.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't attend for various reasons. You've had everyone from the biggest stars like Tom Brady to LeBron James to whoever not attend for whatever reason. Uh, it happens. Whatever. Steph Curry said he's not going. Donald Trump then tweets out that Steph Curry doesn't want to come to the White House. Fine. Invitation revoked. He told him he's uninvited. So this I think is the beginning of the whole week of Trump versus sports organizations, period. He then goes on a Twitter rant uh, for almost 2 or 3 days about going back and forth. You had everybody from LeBron responding to Dale Earnhardt Jr. to, I mean, just all gamuts of all sports. Everybody who has commented on this. This has been the biggest news of the week this past week. Then Trump goes to Alabama for a rally to support I think it was a senator or congressman. I'm not sure who it was. He went to Alabama to support, but he had a rally. During that rally, he started talking about the NFL and the protest to the national anthem, that the protest is for, you know, uh, police brutality and equality for Black people in America that Colin Kaepernick started. Trump was quoted as saying if they don't want to stand for the flag and the national anthem, the owners should tell those sons of bitches, you're fired, get the hell off the field. He said that, and it was directed at a certain group. The way he spoke very divisive, and he used keywords that are normally reserved for people who are discriminatory towards another race or religion or group. So he was using those type of words like our country and this type of stuff. That sparked the whole NFL community to kind of have a backlash towards President Trump. So come Sunday and Monday, pretty much every team was locked arm in arm and taking knees. And you had some people that didn't like it. You had some people protesting the NFL. You had some people who were hypocrites. Ray Lewis was on record saying he would never not stand for the national anthem. And he was shown on both knees during the national anthem. Jerry Jones was, I don't know if he was quoted as saying, but a lot of people said that he said that anybody on the Cowboys team took a knee, they were off the team. And that was staff included. Jerry Jones was locked arm in arm and took a knee with his team. Pre-national anthem. So they stood up during the national anthem, but pre-national anthem, they all took a knee and was locked arm in arm. That's kind of like a halfway compromising thing, which I don't agree with, but we'll get into that. But guys, there was a lot of stuff going on. You had the Steelers not even coming out for the national anthem. The whole team, except for one player, Alejandro Villanueva, he was the only player that stood right outside the tunnel with his hand over his heart, and he pretty much left the rest of his team in the locker room. So I know it's a lot to cover, guys. I know you guys have a lot of opinions on that stuff. I do as well. So let's get right into it. Let's start from the beginning. From Steph Curry's initial answer to the question. He didn't actually say this on his own. He was asked the question. And he said he wasn't going to the White House. Let's go. And Judge, I hope your mic is ready. We do want to hear your thoughts on North Korea, but we'll double back on that towards the end of the show.
Man, I think the whole Steph Curry.
Judge, we can't hear you, man.
I guess he ain't talking. Now it's on mute.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the whole Steph Curry thing, man. At least the response from the from 45 was more than childish. I mean, come on, like, oh, your invitation is revoked, and come on, man, sit down somewhere with that. But yeah, that did kind of spark the whole thing, like you said, calling them SOB, fire them, and all this here. I mean, you know what you're doing when you do that. You know you're sparking defiance at that point. You know the whole NFL is going to do what they're going to do, right. And it's so much to cover on this, like you said. So I'm trying to hit like key points, and I agree with you 100% about the whole Jerry Jones and the Cowboys thing. And I said before, I believe on a previous show about what Cowboys are, and first off, I don't like the Dallas Cowboys. I despise the Dallas Cowboys. I want that to be known, and. But the thing is, what people don't realize, some people don't realize what Cowboys mean and what the original term was as far as slavery, and that being the field slave that tended to the cattle and all that. We made it cool, and then they tried to take it over. But anyway, that's basically what they are. And then when you tie it into Jerry Jones saying what he said, yeah, he said it. It don't got to be quoted. I don't have to hear no audio. You could tell on how Dez acted. Talking about, Master said, no, right. I need to eat. Master said, when they act like that and they sit there locked arm in arm with Master right there with them, right there, I don't agree with that whole compromise. Oh, we're going to kneel before it. No, the whole point of their deal is to kneel during the national anthem. You kneel during the national anthem because that is the part where Colin Kaepernick started, okay? You don't do it beforehand and then stand up and talk about a compromise. Basically what you did is you let Massa go out there and tell you you're going to do this or you're not going to have no job. Yeah. That's basically what it is. They all bowed down. The whole squad bowed down to Jerry Jones.
I agree.
And the thing is, if that's America's team, they set that example as America's team. And now everybody else needs to fall in line. And I don't agree with that because there's going to be more mess coming next weekend. And that, Alejandro, whatever, that dude ain't finna be welcome in nobody's locker room anytime soon. Now, understand that I'm not military. I know there's a couple military guys on here, but what I do know of the military is that you don't leave your brother stranded like that. And he used to be an Army Ranger. Right now, he's a Pittsburgh Steeler. And when you have a team meeting and you make a team agreement that you're going to do something, you don't leave them out stranded like that to be seen on national TV. And then you put basically through your coach under the bus. You basically not directly, but by his actions, he basically threw his whole team, his organization, his coach, all of those people under the bus, made him come back and have to apologize for what he did. Now understand, he had this thing. He could have sat there with his hand over his heart right there in the tunnel with his brothers. He didn't have to come out there for all them cameras to see him.
Yeah.
He disowned. He basically went rogue, is what he did against his brothers in that locker room.
Right.
And everybody's going to remember that. And the thing is the reason of the protest is because of the police brutality against his brothers of color on his team. And with his name, now I've heard him talk. He don't sound like it, but with his name, he has roots of that are also being brutalized by the police as well. Now, he can have his own personal beliefs and come out there. Oh, he's ex-Army Ranger. I'm respect the flag and all that. Good deal. That's you. But you're on a team, and y'all agreed to sit in that daggone tunnel, and you came out there and went rogue, and that's where I have a problem with.
Yeah.
Well, let me go back to. I see you, Jed. I want you to finish it out, Jed. Let me get back to Trump and Steph Curry. Trump is living his life in real life like he's on TV. That's what he's
He
doing.
is on TV.
I know, but that's what he's doing. Like he really probably feels like, man, I'm really living a real life reality TV show, and I can do whatever I want, and I'm still living in the White House, flying wherever I want to go, and playing golf 8 days a week. You know what I'm saying? So like that's how he's living right now, and he's saying whatever he want to say because in his mind, can't nobody touch him, and right now. He appears to be untouchable. Like he hasn't appeared in any type of courtroom. He's signing whatever paperwork he wants to sign. Right? He's probably still signing deals behind the scenes that only will provide him and his family income that we don't even know about. You know what I'm saying? So
we can't speculate, but
man, look,
man,
sure.
come on.
He been doing that for years, Joe.
It's for sure.
Already know, man.
I will say it is for sure that there doesn't seem to be a limit that he can't cross.
Exactly.
And people be okay with it to give him a pass.
There you go.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
It'll be a line here, and he'll step here. He like, okay, they ain't say nothing. So the line will be here, he'll step here. And he'll look at you, oh, they ain't say nothing. It looked like he just a habitual line stepper. He just gonna go.
That's exactly what he's doing.
That's exactly it.
Trump gonna get to the point. Trump's gonna get to the point where he gonna be on the podium and he gonna call somebody a motherfucker.
Tell him,
yeah, he gonna say nigga or something to somebody.
Oh man, it's
gonna do it
coming.
directly.
It's coming.
Like you said, he gonna get to that line. That line eventually gonna be a cliff, and he just gonna walk off it. That's what's gonna happen.
Man.
But Alan, I didn't mean to cut you off or interrupt you.
No, you're good. You're good. But and then the whole NFL thing with I know we're gonna talk about Ray Lewis, so I'm gonna hold off on that. But the whole coming out there in solidarity, whatever, like that was the biggest promotional political stunt ever. It was genius because he gonna fill more seats in his stadium now. All right. So people gonna think, okay, well, if Jerry Jones did it, he came out to the field and he knelt down, but I guess he's okay. I'll start coming back to the game. Right? I'm telling you, that's what's gonna happen. So to even see that, and it's not even in the manner, like Joe said earlier, in reference to what Colin Kaepernick was taking the knee for. Like, why are you even on the field like that? Why? Like, who even thought that would be a bright idea to say, hey, okay, well, I'll go ahead and do it too.
But that's because Trump messed up their money. That's because Trump was messing up their money. Trump told them folks said, hey, if them niggas take a knee this Sunday, don't you spend no more money on them football games. And them owners say, oh, hold up now, Trump, goddamn now. You know what I'm saying? We was cool with you. Now you fucking with my money.
Exactly.
And that's when they stepped out there on that field.
Look, man. I'm telling you, man, like it was just, I'm like, what? But I'm gonna hold my last comment about Ray Lewis until we get to Ray Lewis. So go ahead, Judge, man.
Yeah. How's my sound?
You sound terrible.
Yeah.
No, I really. Is it bad?
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's bad, man.
We're gonna have to edit this show, man.
No, this computer's bad. I'm gonna kick back. Let me go get my cell phone. This computer's bad.
All right. I don't understand how your sound is always bad. You had one good show.
Yeah, it sounded better on the phone, man. I know he want to jump in so bad too, man. He want to jump in.
I know he want to say something. He having some technical issues. Sorry about that, people. We're gonna get his mic and audio correct one of these weeks. But let me go back and also say some other things. The president of the United States cannot legally influence a business.
That's right.
Or promote a business or bring away attention from a business
But he did it
and
indirectly.
influence people to quit a job or be hired. He can't do that legally. And he definitely
He did
did that
Yes,
this
he
week.
did that.
And
Yes.
nobody said anything about it.
No.
Except for
No.
on Twitter. You know, Twitter,
Right.
they don't have no holds barred for anybody.
Right.
But it's definitely been pointed out that he actually did do that, and that is against the law. The other thing is the narrative has been changed from Colin Kaepernick, original taking a knee for equality and police brutality, against police brutality. The narrative been changed completely, and it's all about the flag and the national anthem. And that's not what those people were kneeling for. They aren't against the flag or the national anthem.
They're not.
This isn't a disrespect to the flag or the national anthem. It is a sign that, look at me, we are doing this because we would like change, and this is a setting for which this can become visible and known. So the narrative got changed, and now all of a sudden everybody's talking about the flag and the national anthem. Well, I can tell you from the act of kneeling is not a show of disrespect at all. That's a show of submittal. You're being submissive when you kneel to something. Also, disrespect would be to burn the flag. How about balling the flag up and putting it in your back pocket? I would say that would be more disrespectful than kneeling.
Or making a bikini out of it, or stuff like that.
Or putting it on a t-shirt, or wrapping it around your head as a scarf. That would be kind of disrespectful for a flag. But people do that every day, every year. The 4th of July, you see all kind of crazy shit with flags.
I ain't never did it.
Hey, you see it there, Joseph. How's my sound now, folks?
Your sound is great. Your sound is great now.
Thank you. Mr. Steph Curry thing. Personally, I don't care if he goes to the White House or not.
Nobody does.
I don't care if he's not invited to the White House. He won a championship, so it doesn't matter to me.
Right. It's not important.
Now, the NFL. I'm in agreement with you guys. This is the biggest publicity, TV, media, jack off, orgasm having, go mind having situation here.
Yeah.
If you don't know, and you know I like to do my 2-minute spiel, but I'll try to make it quick. The media is the gold mine. It's his media gold. The media pushes the narrative to push you to the television, to push you to the news feeds, to push you to social media. Money for them. And it's corporate money from Facebook to Twitter, etc. Mind you, they don't care if you take a knee, if you stand up. They just need you to be engaged in whatever narrative they've got that particular week. So I'll tell you this. For everybody that took a knee on Saturday and Sunday, they didn't do this because of Colin Kaepernick. They didn't do this because of black lives being taken or citizens' lives being taken by police. They did it out of anger and out of spite to the president for saying something they didn't like. I'm going to tell you the truth because the TV will lie. All these correspondents and pundits and experts will lie. Yeah. And the people in social media, don't take offense to this, but you're not lying, but you're ignorant. And when you're ignorant, you're just saying shit. So I'm telling you, the reason why they did this is because the media set the tone. They set the tone when the election season started. That's why they started 2 years early. They set the tone when they set up 2 media gold. Don't matter who you pick, okay? It's media gold. Now that they've got their media hound, which is Donald Trump, the president, he's a media whore. And they know this. And every time they show him on magazines and books and TV screens, yada yada. It's a check.
Yep.
For them, when the moment he said something about Steph Curry, it was a check in his pocket. It's a check in all news media outlets' pockets. And when he said it, they immediately was ready to give it to the NFL because they knew. I called it a day ahead. Watch what happens on Sunday. Everybody's going to start doing something. Media go. People tune into the NFL games just to see it. Okay? So that they can comment on social media, so they can comment on magazines and newspapers, so bloggers and correspondents can talk about this shit. When you take a social issue and you make it political, you've taken the responsibility of the people to then work on that social problem. I'll say it again, and real simple and plain. Social issues supposed to be handled by people. People, you and I, citizens, talking amongst each other. Not correspondences and not the damn president. Not talking about a social issue. You're looking for the gut. When you make it political and you say, oh, it's a political issue, it's the flag, you're saying government take care of this for me. We don't want to talk about this. The people, everyday people. We don't want to discuss this amongst each other. And to be just as lazy, we're going to discuss this shit on social media because I don't want to talk to another person and ask them how they really feel about this. I'd rather see them type some shit. This is the problem. And we've gotten so lazy with it that now we think everybody's kneeling for Colin Kaepernick. No. They're kneeling because they're mad. They're mad that the president said something. They want him to apologize. They're not kneeling because Colin Kaepernick kneeled. They didn't kneel when he kneeled, and they didn't kneel because he kneeled. They kneeled because they were mad at the president.
You made
not at Colin Kaepernick not getting a job.
You made a valid point. Basically saying that the whole original narrative has been lost, and that's the key point that you're making is that he did this over a year ago, and the narrative was immediately smeared by trying to say it was disrespect to the flag, and now it's switched all over to, like you said, now is in defiance of because of what 45 said. So I mean, the narrative has been lost, and it's sad. I mean, that at this point it's almost like where you can't even go back to what the original cause was because they've already smeared it. They don't care. They're burning this. They're burning that. There's reports of restaurants who aren't even showing NFL games anymore in sports bars and stuff. I mean, it's crazy. These people booed, man. These people were booing as they were kneeling before the national anthem. What? Okay, if your issue was them disrespecting the flag during the national anthem, when the Cowboys came out, their so-called compromise, they kneeled before the national anthem, and the audience still booed. So tell me, what is
right? Let me. Yeah, that's right.
And they booed it, but when they booed in other games too during the national anthem, they were booed.
I was just
now that's disrespect to the flag and the national anthem.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. That's what I was about to say once you said that. Yeah, they were booing during the national anthem. Is that not more disrespectful?
Exactly.
Let me tell you what's really disrespectful. That's very disrespectful. But let me tell you something else. When people are saying, oh, well, they're overpaid athletes, or they don't need to have a social conscience or political stance on anything because they're getting paid millions. See, those are people who hate the fact that there are people who make more money than them.
Yeah.
People here, those are the. I'm gonna give you something really deep. Those are the same people who were upset with freed slaves because they left the plantations with skill sets. I'm gonna say this again. When the slaves left the plantation, they were ostracized and targeted and for violence because they had the skill sets. They knew how to do shit, and there was a group of people who did not have skill sets because all they knew how to do was drive the slave. And they came around, and now you see them upset with rich, black, and Hispanic, and all ethnicities, actually, because there are several NFL sports players, NFL, but across the board. They're so upset that they're making millions that they're going to tell you they shouldn't say anything.
I think
they're making you think they're not. Be careful who you watch. The people, and I'll say this, Joe, and I'll stop.
No. Go ahead.
But I didn't talk about this most of the week because I watched people.
Yeah.
And what we don't do is we don't watch people. We respond to media. Watch how people behave and watch what they say. They'll tell you to lie, but I'm gonna tell you, they're very jealous of these people being able to not only have a stance, but they weren't fired.
Yeah.
They want to see people hurt. They want to see people be. What's the word? They want them to have. They want them to be fired.
Like
they love that you're fired shit.
Like Jamil
They
Hill.
love to see that
mad,
shit.
Ooh, they mad Jamil Hill still got her job.
Oh, it's one of those things where they want to see humility in people who are public figures or perceived to be wealthy. And I watched as well, Judge. My social media was full of it. Everybody had opinion. I didn't say one word. I didn't type on social media about it at all. Didn't say one word. I was just reading.
Yep.
And I saw a lot of people mention what you just said about being a rich athlete and you should just play football. And when you say that, that lets me know right there you're out of touch and you don't know what you're talking about. Because that has nothing to do with the conversation that we're having right now. Zero.
Yes, sir.
0.0 to do with anything. Because no amount of money anybody has denies you the right to speak your mind. It's a freedom of speech. It's America. Just because you're an athlete, I don't care if all strippers united in the United States and were speaking out against bad tippers. They got the right to do that. You don't tell them, shut up, bitch, dance. You don't
be glad you got
here. Be glad you're getting these ones. You know, you don't say that. If you do, that sounds like you're jealous.
That's what
it is.
And like you just said,
that's
Joe,
exactly.
like Dale Hansen had that monologue, and during his, I don't know if y'all saw that.
I saw it.
But during his monologue, he was talking about, Chris Rock said it best. He says, "Not a white man in this country that would trade places with me, and I'm rich."
Yeah,
and he's a rich black man. So, but that goes like what you were saying, that when some of these people are saying, "Oh, you're a rich athlete, you don't have to deal with that issue. You don't go through that. Why are you kneeling like Kaepernick? You have money." It's not. They don't understand that it's a systemic issue. That's the issue. But we all know that. We all know that they don't understand that. They deflect for whatever reason. If you're totally out of touch with it, and these are grown folks, there's nothing you're going to say to them today during this heightened situation that's going to get them to understand that.
Exactly.
You got to also add to this.
It's kicking a dead horse.
Right. And you got to add to that, like, these people truly believe what they believe.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they see the world. You know
like the sky is blue, man.
Man, and growing up, I had to learn that. I had to learn to understand that. Like, some people just believe what they believe. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that'll save you breath going back and forth with them. Because, like, just because I'm presenting you with a piece of paper with all the facts, and then I'm going and taking you to where these facts live at, they still gonna believe what they believe.
You're right. Facts don't matter in an argument and debate. Facts don't matter.
And emotions don't give a damn about emotions.
It sure don't.
Emotions don't give a damn about your emotions.
Sure don't.
So let me also point out this. During this whole thing, with these players locking arms with their owners and the staff and taking a knee during the national anthem, Colin Kaepernick still doesn't have a job in the NFL.
You ain't going to. Show ain't gonna have one now.
And Colin Kaepernick is good enough to play. He's good enough to start for at least 10 teams in the NFL right now. Now.
We'll take him on the Colts.
So,
but I ain't watching.
So I believe the whole thing is bullshit. Yeah. With the owners coming down there locking arms, I don't believe it. I think it's PR.
Yep.
It don't make any sense.
Oh, it's PR.
It don't make it,
Definitely.
it's not going together.
It's all
Exactly.
PR, and like I said, it's
That's it.
directly driven by the statement made by 45, telling those fans, specific fans, to not go to another game, to boycott the NFL if they take another knee during the
So,
national anthem. When he
Man, let's
said
get to Ray
that, and
Lewis, man. Let's
you
get to
know
Ray
what
Lewis,
kind of
man.
following
About
this
this big
dude
Ray
has?
Lewis.
Yeah.
Let's get to Ray Lewis.
Yeah,
Man. Let's get to
we
Ray
already.
Lewis, man.
wait, time out.
Ray Lewis.
Can I do something real quick? I want to do something real
We
quick
beat
with you
around the
guys.
bush, man.
I
You're
want to
ready
do
to beat
something
up
real
Ray
quick.
Lewis, man. Come on.
We're gonna beat up on Ray a little bit. But I want to take a bet with you three guys right here on here with me. How many weeks do you think they gonna all take a knee, owners included, in support of this? Support.
I give them maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 at the most. I don't think
Yeah.
it's gonna go no more past this week coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that
That's
too.
it.
Some team that didn't play this week, that had a bye week,
Right.
they gonna do it this week.
Right.
No,
That's it.
there was no bye weeks. No bye weeks this week. There was no bye weeks.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh, okay.
No.
Nah, the team.
What else? Somebody didn't play?
No, the thing is, these other teams gonna want to be able to get it fully organized. See, this week was real sloppy. It had some people with their hand on the shoulder, some was
Yeah.
standing up, some was me. Now they want to all get unified one good week where the whole NFL is in line because Jerry Jones set the standard on Monday night to show, look, this is how y'all get y'all bucks in line, and that's what they gonna do for at least
They
1
gonna
or
run
2
out
more
of
weeks,
groups of
and that's
10,
it.
man, with their
I-
arms cuffed together.
I would say
Groups of
this.
10.
I believe the
don't-
ratings driven.
And why we call them their owners? Listen to this. They got they athletes that on the field.
Exactly.
These are they field niggas, and they the owners. Just listen to the narrative on this. They bid on these people. The
Exactly,
Cowboys. Man.
It's money, man. It's money.
Look.
That's all it is.
I doubt very highly that
They owners.
that the owners are going to be on that field taking a knee
And
this
you
week.
still call them the owners.
Agreed.
That's what they
Yeah.
are. I doubt it. I doubt they'll be out there.
Everybody trying to hit me out.
We'll see.
Slave driver? No. Jordan ain't no slave driver. The gas.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so I really don't
They
think
got the rating.
I think it was
They're not gonna do it no more.
deal. I think it was one-time deal. I think they like. So what do you think about that, Trump? And that's all. That's they going back up to they box suite.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ain't coming out and get their pan dirty. But man, let's get the Ray, man.
Turf in Dallas. The turf in Dallas.
So Ray Lewis was heavily critical of Colin Kaepernick taking a knee
Cool alert.
for the national anthem. I mean, he said he would not do it. He thinks it's wrong. Colin shouldn't do that. He should stand up. Heavily critical of this man. Ray Lewis was with the Ravens. He was down on 2 knees, and he was speaking. He was speaking to himself. So he was praying, is what he said. So when he got called out, why did he take a knee? He said he didn't take a knee. He was on both knees, and he was praying. He said he was praying. He wasn't taking a knee. He was praying. And the Twitter world and Black America lit up.
Yeah,
Ray Lewis, he got the donkey of the day from Charlemagne, the guy from Breakfast Club. He got the donkey of the year for me. Him and what's the boy from co-host with Colin Cowherd?
Oh yeah.
What's that dude's name?
Who that?
I think Ray might be number 2 right now because that guy's he's up there.
Jason Whitlock, man.
Jason Whitlock. That's right. Jason Whitlock is number 1, but Ray Lewis is a strong number 2.
Yeah.
With the move he just put, and the explanation he gave was ridiculous. He said they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do, so he just felt like he had to pray, and God wasn't gonna let them take away his spirit or something like that.
Man, forget that. Look, man. Ray Lewis is like that that mosquito that just buzzing in your ear, and you just want to just like swat the hell out of it. Like, why are you here? You know, like, why was he even on the field anyway? Like he was at perfect angle for the perfect shot. Why was you out there?
Media goal, Alan. Media goal.
They rehearsed it. Yeah, like you said, in the perfect angle, he rehearsed it, man.
I know.
You ever seen Django?
I understand. You know what I'm saying? And then for him to get on live TV and put together that BS explanation, man. Really? Really, Ray?
Connect the dots.
Everybody know you want, you know what I'm saying, you want to be this motivational preacher, right? Everybody know that, Ray. All right? We know you want to be some type of sports anchor. All right? We know that. All right? I'm pretty sure something is coming for you in the future with the Baltimore Ravens somewhere, you know, owning something or a good job there, you know. So, like, that was the dumbest thing ever, man. It's like,
I will say, to Ray's credit, if he is trying to stay relevant, he has done a damn good job.
He did it, man. Like, he's the talk of the town. If you go to his Twitter page and Instagram page, like, people who listen to Charlamagne's Don't Care Today, they are lighting his page up.
Yeah, I think even his friend, he had Shannon Sharp, who's a friend of Ray Lewis, tore into Ray Lewis, and Ray Lewis had a response for that. He didn't like it. He told him he could have called him.
Let me go back to my point I mentioned earlier. When I say media go, we better start connecting the dots on what TV is doing. They put Ray Lewis there.
Oh, yeah.
They put Ray Lewis there because they knew what we were going. They know our reaction before we react. Because they've already. When I say our, I mean America. They already. When I say they, I'm talking about the media. Yes. They understand black reaction.
Yes.
And I hate to say this again, but the ignorant among us react on cue. Ray Lewis is out there. Ray Sharp. He went to Shannon Sharp show. He went to Chris Carter show. He's doing his round robin. And everywhere he goes, he's got a different narrative and explanation as to why he did something. Thus will get you tuning in, checking it out on YouTube, and then commenting on it.
Yep.
This is what you do when you leave sheep to be slaughtered. You dangle some shit until they go to where they're going, and then you kill them all. Kill them all in their brain cells. Nobody's thinking about this shit. Don't follow the dancing dummy. Okay? Ray Lewis is a genius. He's gotten with the sports and media folks. That's why ESPN's changed their platform. They don't do the same shit no more. They talk half the damn time. People want to see you talk about shit, even though it's not relevant.
You're getting paid to talk.
So
man.
He was on Shannon. He was on Chris Carter's show this morning. I saw it. I watched it. I fell into the trap. Sometimes the damn hole looks good and I fall into it. Actually, I just didn't want to change the channel at the time. But it's media go. I'm gonna research that and I'll get back with y'all next week when we do another show. And I'm gonna see what their profits look like. Since 45 got in, put his hand in the hat over the last 2 years. And you'll see where the money's going.
I want to expand on what you just said about the media and all that, trying to put the spin, putting Ray Lewis right there in front. I heard something, I think all of us will agree that any nation is weaker when they're divided. That's the whole reason why, the Civil War was an issue. We were a divided country. If we're divided now racially as black and white, and then you want to subdivide even further and then divide the black community themselves, then you're going to have the ones that are pro-black, and you're like, oh, this person here is supposed to be for this, and this coon, and now he's doing this, and you're giving us, and you're breaking it down by level by level by level by causing more and more division within subcultures and subgroups. And the weaker and weaker you make people, the more the ruling party can take over because you're too
That's
preoccupied
it.
with bickering over bullshit.
That's it.
Mhm.
And
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, man.
and that's basically what it is, man.
Yeah.
So
And
all
they're
that's
not
part
just
of it to get
targeting
negative.
us.
Uh-huh.
No.
That's right. And they're not just targeting us because now they see the difference between white America. They see that politically they're not on the same page.
Exactly.
You see what they call you liberal and conservative and all that other bullshit. But really what they're saying is there's a group of us that think one way and a group of us that think another. And these extreme thinkers, oh, well, they're pro-America and everybody else is not.
And see, and to keep expanding because you made some good points tonight, but to keep expanding, like you said on that, the liberal and the conservative. But what the media is, whatever the media feeds and constantly feeds, we're forced to eat. If you live at home with mom
That's
and
it.
dad and you don't make no money, whatever mama cooking that night, that's what you eating
That's all you
tonight,
got.
or you ain't eating at all. So if the media is feeding us
Mm-hmm.
Antifa or whatever that left wing mess is, and they're feeding us, the right wing white nationalists, and that's all they feeding us. Those people that aren't extreme, that are on the fence, are eventually going to have to eat that food and grow into whatever that is, which is going to cause more division and more hate and more this and more that, what was already lying dormant in most of these people anyway. So,
I'm not eating it. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
and like
Look,
you
like
said,
I told
I
y'all, I'm
mean, it's
already
very
getting our
few.
doomsday plan together.
It's very few. See,
Shoot.
just from your political stance, like you say, you're libertarian. So already just from that, I can already tell you ain't eating the bullshit from either side. But the thing is, most people aren't that way. When you're feeding this, it's either you have this or you have that. Just like
Mm-hmm.
Mother said earlier, when the media is setting something up, they got media gold. Either you got media gold with Hillary, we're gonna ride with that, or we got media gold with Trump. Guess what? We're gonna roll with Trump because Trump is a media whore and he's just a natural at the shit.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's a 24-hour cycle. For 2 years, this dude has had his own reality TV show on multiple stations. 24 hours. He's had CNN,
That's
MSNBC,
what I'm
Fox
trying to tell
News.
you.
All these are his own 24-hour shows for the past 2 years.
He think his life is a real life reality TV show. I'm telling you, man. So shoot. Hey guys, I'm about to jump off
Good
though, man.
dad.
For
That's
sure,
on
man.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Alan, man.
All
What
right,
you
Thanks,
got,
man.
man.
brother?
Thanks for joining, man.
That was
Yep.
good. That was good. That was
That was
good. That was
good.
a nice one.
So let's move on. Obviously, we can talk all night about this and all the ways it can go and all the political
Right.
and media kind of talk and what people are trying to manipulate in this system. Uh, but let's move on to something else that was found out, and this came out today. I'm sorry, yesterday. Uh, there were several NCAA basketball programs that were charged with fraud and corruption. There were 10 people charged so far, with more to come. Uh, Coach for Louisville, Rick Pitino, very highly touted coach and a very successful
Mm-hmm.
basketball program, was let go. He was fired today uh, for corruption and fraud. And what has been going on, which is to most people who follow sports, college sports, in the pipeline to the NFL, pro sports, and even from high school to college to the pro.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone kind of knows, you don't really know, but you kind of know that players get paid and bribes are made and deals are done behind the scene with these
Mm-hmm.
pro athletes and these with these systems and these institutions that make millions of dollars off of.
Mm-hmm.
So now this 3-year FBI investigation has come to light, and you get implementations from different corporations uh, who have given money, tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to these coaches and program heads and
Mm-hmm.
marketing teams from different places,
Mm-hmm.
and where they kind of coerce certain athletes to go to certain areas as far as agencies and sponsorships and
Yep.
schools and who they're talking to, who these people are
Yep.
talking to, who their handlers are. because most of these kids come from low income areas or single parent families. They don't have any knowledge on who to talk to get deals done and get deals made. And I know a lot of people at home always think, well, how do they know how to do this? Or how do they know how to get this deal done? Well, it's usually from a handler. And those handlers usually get reference from their coaches or the staffs at these various institutions. So this has come out. It's not a secret, but it is a secret. It's one of those unspoken things. And people who know sports know that this happens. They just can't prove it.
Mm-hmm.
This is broken out. It's going to be bigger. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get bigger.
It's going to go to football. It's going to go to everything.
So Adidas has gotten their hand caught in the cookie jar.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had some people arrested for this very thing in this very instance, along with a couple other agencies. But Adidas was the biggest company that was known, and I'm sure the other companies are in it as well. You just can't prove
I bet Under Armour in it. I bet Under Armour somewhere in there.
Oh, you know they in there. So what do you guys think this means for sports going forward? I know a lot of people have this big push about paying college players.
That's where I was going to go.
Should be paid.
I personally think college players should be paid some kind of fee, and not just for bowl games, because they do get some kind of fee for a bowl game. But that's the only game that they get paid for officially. Officially. I'll say that again. Officially. What do y'all think the implications of this is? What do you think going to happen to these programs? Because these are big name programs. You got Louisville in there. I know Auburn was thrown in the hat.
Auburn was thrown in there.
Let me see. There were some other schools in there that aren't.
I think USC was in there.
USC
was in there. Yeah.
Oklahoma State was in there. Southern Cal was in there. So you have these are big programs. These aren't small rinky-dink schools. These are big institutions.
Well, that's what it's going to be, man. I mean, when you think about it from that aspect, it sounds shocking, but
yeah,
it would be shocking if it was a whole bunch of small schools coming out, that you ain't never heard of and stuff like, whatever state, that you ain't never heard of. But it's going to expand. It's going to get bigger. It's been a 3-year investigation. It's going to expand to football. It's going to expand to whatever sports. I mean, it's the norm. That's what you have to do. And I think the only way that you're going to curb this is if you eventually get to the point to where it is in the open, you legalize some of this stuff. Pay these athletes. I mean, they're making an insane amount of money for the university. Just giving them a free education for $30,000 or $20-something thousand a year is not cutting it. I mean, you're making millions upon millions for the school. It needs to be something. I know it's not fair across the board to pay all these men on the roster the same thing, or if you're this person, I don't know how that scale will work. That would be a very complex situation. And you're talking about students, you know what I'm saying? It's a hard thing, but I mean, this has been going on for ages, man. Like dude said, going all the way back to the Jordan days. Ever since an athlete was able to generate income and be marketable and make money in the capitalist society, there's been this going on.
Yeah. I agree. It's complicated. It will be a complicated system to pay players because, let's face it, a lot of players aren't as important as some of the players. It was also mentioned that there was somebody that was involved in AAU program. So this is going back to high school and lower, because AAU is, from kids on up.
Yeah, because they sponsor AAU teams. No, let's not get it twisted.
Well, that's a big thing in
this
Florida.
Is money.
Now, I know in Florida, youth football is a big. I mean, they cracked down. It's like I wouldn't say almost a decade ago. This was a big story in Florida with Pee Wee football. Like these guys were so big, man. These jokers was paying money and doing stuff like getting kids from different districts and paying thousands of dollars, or hundreds of dollars to these families and stuff, and housing them in different places and all kinds of just for Pee Wee football. So imagine what they doing at the NCAA level, man.
Yeah, I remember. I remember actually a few years ago, that there was a gambling ring for Pee Wee
Mm-hmm.
football, or AAU football.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that was in California, if I'm not mistaken. But they got busted with that. That was years ago. So, like I said, it's nothing
Yeah.
new. We all know it happens. It would be complicated to implement it, but something's gonna have to give because even though these schools have been busted, it's not gonna stop anything.
Right.
It ain't gonna stop nothing.
They just gonna get slicker with it. That's all.
Well, I just hope don't nobody die over this, but this is the kind of thing people get murdered over.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of
It's in there
money.
telling. You can't be telling.
Yeah,
If you're telling,
yeah. It's a lot of money exchanging hands, and you guys know, like I know, a human when presented some money, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of people with good moral compasses, but what's your limit? Is what I'm
But see,
saying.
like, I don't know about the people dying thing, man. But I just realized how big this is and why I say this is going to expand. When you're talking with people who are so-called just normal people, coaches or whoever it is, and scouts or whoever it is that's being assistant coaches. These aren't mobsters. These aren't gangsters from the street that have the code of silence. These people didn't grow up in the Bronx and know, man, snitches get stitches. Hell no, they want to go home to their family. So whatever process, so whatever federal agent come to them and offer whatever deal to say, all right, tell me everything you know. Oh
Snitch.
yeah, man, give me a pen and pad. Everybody finna talk. So you know
Come
how
on
many
out the
people.
bushes.
Man,
They
this finna
got
be the
us.
first 48 on steroids, man. These jokers finna be singing to a tune. They finna make a beat on the table and start singing but these names out. These jokers finna implicate everybody, man. Everybody.
Nick Saban, come on out the bushes. They got us.
Just to save their ass,
they
though.
got us. They said they caught us, man. Come on, Nick. Calling up Nick Saban like, Nick, they got us. Throwing you tap. Nick, they got us, man.
No,
Hide everything. Nick like,
we
man.
can't. I'm sorry. I apologize, Nick Saban. We're not implementing anything or saying that you have done anything illegal. It was just a joke, man. It was just a joke.
Yeah, these jokers finna sing, man, like the morning birds, though. I'm trying to tell you, man. Ain't no code of silence in these dudes. These are assistant coaches, man. These jokers finna start singing.
Yeah, assistant coach is telling.
Oh yeah, you guys,
Patino name ain't showed up unless his assistant coach told on him.
Already.
them guys making 60 and 70,000 dollars. They ain't got enough to sit on. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
They can't do that bid and sit on that money, man. They got to pay some bills, man.
Yeah.
They finna talk.
They gotta
Let's talk about it.
Hey, it's funny because the dude that got caught, right? So that he don't go to jail. He let the FBI agent follow him through all the meetings, and so the FBI agent sitting there like a scribe while he talk on this all that, and he's just in there. I'm like, man, bro, you she like, hey man, fuck it. What I got to do? What I got to do? Get my name off the list, man.
Yeah, it's
I'm
gonna
just
be
trying
over
to get
for a
the
whole bunch
kids
of
to
folks,
Disney
man.
World.
Yeah, he's like, man, I'm just trying to get me a house, man. I ain't trying.
Yeah,
I ain't trying to
pay
be
for this
involved.
Toyota.
Yeah,
Trying to pay for this Toyota Sequoia, man. That's all I'm trying to do, man. Come on, man. Trying to go to jail.
They started off like, man, I can pay off my debt, man, with this 25,000, and it kept going.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's move into one of the sillier topics that we're going to talk about today. Flat earthers.
Oh,
now recently
we don't have enough people on the panel for that, Joe.
So recently, we're going to talk about it briefly.
Right.
Briefly. Then we'll end the show. And we'll be back with you folks more consistently. We're going to get this together. But flat earthers. Recently, there's been an influx of people coming out saying that they believe that the earth is flat. They say it's shaped as a disc and it's flat on the plane. Now, why they believe this, I don't know. When there's absolutely evidence to prove otherwise, but there's been several celebrities as well that's come out and said they are flat earthers. More notably, Kyrie Irving. Sammy Watkins recently came out and said he's a flat earther. The rapper B.O.B.
Yeah, they talking about this Negro trying to raise money to launch a satellite. This nigga got a GoFundMe.
Good.
I'm reading this shit right now.
Oh man, I didn't hear
See if I
that.
can
He
see it.
need
I didn't
Let me see
know
this shit.
about that. What you say?
Yeah, do it see B.O.B. got a GoFundMe? Can you see that shit?
Oh my God, yeah, I see.
Man, it say rapper B.O.B. just started GoFundMe to prove the earth is flat. This son of a bitch.
Then they gonna take that money.
Wait. Now it's okay to start a GoFundMe. How much money has been invested in that GoFundMe? I would like to know the number of dollars that he has already had a fundraising for.
Man, it better be it better not be more than Puerto Rico. I know that much.
We can get the answer. Hold on.
I'm pulling it up right now.
But listen. Why y'all do that? I'm tell y'all something.
Go ahead, pull it up, Joe. I don't know how to find it.
There's nothing in the world that's okay. There's nothing that's flat. Thing is 3-dimensional. Might be microscopic 3-dimensional, but it's 3-dimensional. Ain't it flat? That fundamental part, these people don't seem to get. And it's funny, they call everybody a liar. The evidence they see is a lie. NASA's lying. The government's lying. But whoever telling them that the world is flat or the earth is flat ain't lying. Oh, well, that's because, have you ever seen a curve in the earth? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've gone at least 30,000 feet in the air, you can see it.
No, I've been out on the ocean. I've been out on the ocean. If you look far enough, you can see a slight
you
curve.
can see it on a flat horizon.
Yeah.
You can see the curve.
You just said flat horizon, Joe. See what you just did? Just confused half of America. Thank you, sir.
My bad. Oh, I'm sorry, I just pulled up his GoFundMe, and he has raised $3,000 thus far, and his goal is $1 million. You got people on there saying stuff like, "I hope this disproves this flat, so I can stop hearing about it." And this guy just gave $10.
Hey.
Somebody said, "Let's get to the truth," and gave $30.
I was talking to my wife, and I said, if the earth is flat, how do you go north and south?
If the earth is flat, what?
How do you go north and south?
No. There is a north and south if it's flat, because it's on a circle. They believe it's a disc. So if the earth is flat, and let's say this is a circle, you still can go north and south.
Man, depending on how you got it standing up. Now, here, hold up a few. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying this dude had a video trying to prove with the Houston flood that if the earth really had a curvature, why did the water stay at the level it did for all those days and not roll off to the side or whatever? Man, this dude needs to shut the hell up.
It's called engineering, folks. It's called land.
It's called gravity. That's what it's called.
Yeah, it's definitely called gravity. I gotta. You made the statement, Joe, that it's flat, right? And you can go up in a circle. No, I'm just saying. No, this is what they'll tell you.
That's what they say.
Yeah, he said a disc. He said a disc.
Yeah, it's a disc. The only way you can go north to south is if you're standing straight up, not flat. If you're laying down like this, ain't no up and down, right or wrong.
That's right.
No, that's true.
Well, you can still go north and south, like if you walking, like see,
You can go forwards and backwards.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's
yeah.
Forwards
basically.
and
No, you're right.
backwards.
Curtis is
But
right.
but you can't go vertical. You can't go vertical north.
He's absolutely
Yeah.
absolutely
I
right.
know what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But what they're trying to
Physics
say
is a
you still
motherfucker.
walking. Yeah.
Yeah. Physics is hard when you don't stop and actually use it. But what a lot of people are doing is they're reading books and they're listening. Here's what's happening these days. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to this, but everybody is going around grabbing all of these books that was written by people 40, 50, 60 years ago on their opinions. And they're running around saying that it's true. It's a fact. And it ain't just science books they're doing this with. It's all kinds of shit. And they're saying, oh, it's true, and I can prove it to you because somebody wrote it in a book. Newsflash. Just because it was wrote in the book don't make that shit true.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
Sorry. You don't know that. I'm done.
Agree. No. The better explanation of it is the X and Y axis. If you look at something in 3 dimensions, there is a horizontal plane. There's actually 3 planes. That's why it's called 3 dimensions. There's a horizontal plane, and there is a vertical plane. And then there is
that's what we call depth.
There is the Y. It's the Z axis, which gives you the depth of that. It's simple. It's very simple. And you're right, Curtis. You can't have north on a flat plane. It's not possible. You can't go up.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I want to know
it's like explaining it to children.
But what's I still don't understand what their theoretical basis is beyond. I mean, like, what you said that they think it's a disc. I mean, but where are they getting this shit from? I mean, didn't Galileo figure this shit out like 400-500 years ago?
From YouTube.
I tell you what, man.
Some books.
So you can look at it like this. And this is just giving them the benefit of the doubt, but they're stupid. Let's be honest. But you can look at it like this. There was a belief that the earth was flat for far longer than us now knowing that the earth is not flat and is round.
That's
People
true.
believe that for much longer than they believe that it is round.
Well, at least we've been told
a certain
that.
Group of people.
Only
a certain group of people.
That,
not everybody.
Per books, like Curtis just alluded to, per the books that we read, we've been told such that people believed the earth was flat until Galileo proved it, so-called proved it such, not with his telescope and how the celestial bodies circled and stuff and came back around. So if the earth was a disc, how do you explain the moon dropping down behind the horizon one way and then coming up the other side and the sun doing the same thing, dropping to the west and coming back up through the east? I don't understand how they get that to be a disc, and I don't know. It's
that's why I said wait. I wanted to do some more research to get you some comments of what people are saying.
Yeah,
I can tell you.
Yeah,
from what I've seen though, from what I've seen, man, they're getting that from documentaries.
I'm gonna look at some of these documentaries and see what kind of evidence. I mean, it would be interesting. I'm not saying the earth is flat. I'm saying it'd be interesting to really see somebody get to some type of serious theoretical explanation of how they feel as though it is not in a spherical shape.
Because you watch it, man.
Because I would watch it. I mean, because, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lie. I'm one of those people that I don't trust all the images I see from outer space. I don't trust all the images and stuff and all the stuff that they tell me about, you know, what they doing with NASA. I don't trust all that. But I do know is when I look up at the sky, I see stuff start from this side and go over there to this side, and then the next evening it's back over here again, and it keeps going back from one side to the other, and it's almost as if I can't see it when it's on the other side of the earth. I can only see it when it's visible, and it's always starting on one side and shifting over to the other. So either that's telling me A, something's starting over there and somehow get back to the other side without me seeing it, or I'm making this full circle around and I just can't see when it's on the back end.
So look,
Go ahead, Joe.
I'll give you some stuff that they try to say.
And the moon, oh, hold on, let me real quick. The moon too. Why is it that we only see one side of the moon at all given times? We never see the dark side of the moon. So I mean, that could be their argument too. Go ahead.
So there is a couple things about the moon that they say.
That's a good
one. One of them is that sometimes you can see the moon in the daytime as well as in the nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying if it's continually spinning, how can you still see it in the daytime? That's a major point that they try to use.
Well, it's a different cycle. Well, it's a different cycle. I can based off what they taught us in books, the cycle of the moon, what is it, like every 28 days or something? It goes through different phases and all this and that, and the way it rotates.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Different.
So therefore, that sync in that cycle is not necessarily always going to be where the moon is visible to us, where you are on the planet at nighttime. It's not always going to be like that.
Precisely. And you got
also
the moon is closer to the Earth than the sun is.
It's like 212,000 miles, 220,000 miles, which really ain't far when you think about it. It's like right down the stone's throw away. When you think about it.
Here's the other part about science class they missed. They didn't go to it. It's when the moon is circling around the Earth and the Earth is circling around the sun. It's all moving.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's not like this shit like your solar system in your second grade fucking project.
Uh-huh.
Okay, if you got second grade science in your mind, take that shit out. Okay. And don't think astrology, think astronomy. Think of this shit in the cosmos as being much broader than your human mind can take it. Exactly. But you'll see them talk about, if you see people talking about the flat earth, they're going to all of a sudden start talking about aliens and shit too. And different planes of the world and different exospherical planes. And watch them motherfuckers, because they also believe Planet X was coming. But again, certain times of the year, you'll see the sun, the moon during the morning time, and certain parts of the morning before it's gone. But actually, if you look at it, you see the moon. See, this is what dumb people don't know. Because of the atmosphere, if it was very clear, you'll see the moon more than you would, let's say, somewhere.
In like California.
But because of the smog and shit, in the cities and shit, you don't see things as much. But on a clear day, the cosmos a hell of a lot more than you would if you was in Houston. Scientists don't know that. They look in the sky and they go, oh shit, there's only 2 hours out. No, between the lights and the clouds and shit, too. But technically it's billions.
Well, you talk about nighttime with that, yeah. But even
I'm talking about in general.
Too,
I'm talking about in general. I'm talking about in general. The skies are clearer in different parts of the world where you're not bombarded by the air quality and the lights of the city lights. You can see the skies.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. And I know this because there's this thing called a telescope. And the stronger your telescope is, the better you can see the cosmos. And so I've gone to the observatory. That's what this place is called. And they got these really big, powerful ass telescopes. And if you pay $25 of the $3,000 you got, B.O.B., and you look in the telescope, you will see spherical planets. The shit exists, okay? All right? Take $35 of the $3,000 and take your ass to an observatorium that's got these really big, powerful cameras really big, powerful telescopes, and look in it.
Shout out to B.O.B.
Damn. But any dumbass that's doing that,
Yeah.
or go learn to be an astronaut and take your ass into space and come back and tell us the goddamn truth. Okay?
Look, I mean, I don't even understand how they explain the days and the time, because if the Earth wasn't around, how do you get the day, the sun rotating around the Earth like that? How do you get that?
The sun don't rotate around the Earth. Earth rotate around the sun in 365 days.
But if it's flat, how is it doing that?
I don't believe that's real, Joe. They call that a lie.
Look. What thing that's flat can roll? What rolls? What rotates?
Earth is rotating, Joe. They don't believe. They believe, oh, that's a lie.
No.
Okay?
That shit don't make sense.
It's
Right,
like, I'm not going to go there.
Explain a flight. If I fly to Japan right now, they already working. It's tomorrow. They already up.
Yeah.
Explain that to me. There's no other.
Well, they got an explanation for you.
I don't know it. I don't know. Whoever's watching.
And here's where I would debunk that. If the sun is as big as it is, and the Earth, even if they say it is flat, it's relatively not big at all when you look at it.
Should never get dark, right?
It should never be dark. The sun will always have the entire planet illuminated at all given times.
I don't know how. Where you see that at?
All right, now, I don't have a prop. All right, take my hand. Oh, I'll take this remote control. This remote control is the flat Earth. This is the surface of the Earth.
Oh,
my fist is the sun. You see what I'm saying? If my fist is the sun, this Japan over here, Japan's lit up. U.S. over here, U.S. lit up too at the same damn time. Now, if I'm rotating and U.S. is on the backside, Japan is over here and the sun is here, then Japan is lit up and U.S. is dark.
Oh, that's fucking simple. Oh my goodness, you make too much sense. Documentary. This should be a documentary on Netflix.
And I use a remote control to describe that with my fist.
He used a remote control to just debunk the whole thing. Oh, it was classic.
Hey, man, you just debunked a flat Earth.
Debunk.
You just debunked.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Y'all tune in again, man. This has been No One Can Agree, episode number 13. Judge, you got any final thing you want to say?
I don't, except don't let the media fool you. Okay? Talk to people. All right?
Devin, you got anything you want to say?
Dump Trump.
Dump Trump. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to all the viewers. I'm Joe Love. That's Devin. That's Judge. And we out of here. We'll see y'all next week for sure. We're going to have more topics. We're gonna get some stuff rolling on. We're going to do better. I know you missed us.